busy schedules. Wish we had more time to spare. Want you around me like air. Can't get my feelings involved, and then you not be there. Into my eyes you was there.
I'm helping people, bitch.
To keep you around. People like us are so rare, so rare, so rare, so rare, so rare. I wanna keep you around. People like us are so rare, so rare, so rare.
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's damn YouTube? It's your girl, the goddess, and I'm back, with another one, yeah. Alright guys, so today's video, I'm gonna be talking about how I really am feminine. But before we get into the video though, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share. You heard me? You are more than welcome to think that anything I say on this channel is a bunch of tomfoolery. You are more than welcome to think that anything I say is crazy, or that I am crazy and I may need psychiatric help. You are more than welcome to disagree with anything I say on this channel, because why? What you think is valid in your world. Let me repeat that. What you think is valid in your world, okay? I am just here to provoke thought. I'm not here to persuade you to believe what I believe. Okay? Think how you want to think. This channel is about freedom of thought. So if you think fairies and mermaids exist, this is probably the channel for you. If you think Bigfoot and Sasquatch is real, this is the channel for you. If you think aliens are real, this is the channel for you. And the news said that those was real. So anyways, I'm just here to stir the pot a little bit, shake some shit up. All right, so let's get into the video. All right, so one day I was listening to a conversation that my mom and my cousin and her two friends were having. One of my cousin's friends was a school teacher, and she was speaking about how her students come to her about facts, or what they believe to be facts, that they got from off of social media. And I remember her saying that she had to teach her kids about reputable sources, right? And that you can't just believe social media. Social media is not a reputable source, okay? So then I got to thinking. I was thinking, right? What makes a source a reputable source? Because I do agree that you should make sure a source is reputable. But what makes a source reputable? So when I asked my mother what makes a source reputable, she really could not tell me. She really could not give me a straight answer. All she could really do is just name certain websites that she was told were reputable, right? I asked my cousin the same question a long time ago. How do you know that this is a reputable source? And she really couldn't answer that. She really couldn't answer it for me either. So all they could really do is just name the sources that they have been told are reputable. But when does it become manipulation? When does it become manipulation? Because if you only rely on these sources to be the reputable ones, you are giving them the power to be able to tell you anything. And you're also saying that individuals are incapable of doing their own research and then getting on social media to tell everybody about what they learned through that research. So me personally, I have done a lot of research. At the time, I didn't know it was research. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. I was just watching it just out of curiosity. I was watching things and reading things out of curiosity. And I did not think that I would be on YouTube, you know, trying to teach or explain this stuff. And also talk about my, you know, speak on my experience that I've had with spiritual warfare, with black magic and voodoo and things like that. Because when I was going through that experience, it was like I was going through it. So I knew that it was real because I was experiencing it, right? But I just didn't know. I wanted, spirit was calling me, has been calling me to share this experience, right? So through all of that time where I was learning about how to heal myself and how to get through what I was getting through, I was also learning other things. So I watched you know, documentaries on the history of banking with I learned about BlackRock, and I bought books and read books on the chakras and the subconscious minds while also watching videos on YouTube saying, you know, confirming what I read and confirming what I learned in those from those books and those you know, and those things that I was reading and watching, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, a lot of the stuff was about spirituality and how it works, you know what I mean? So like I said, this was 4 or 5 years ago, and I never expected to be on YouTube. So when I come across people like, and so like I said, spirit would called me to speak about my experience, but I knew that it wasn't enough to just tell my experience. I had to get the facts and explain it in a way that seems tangible to the masses, because the masses is not just gonna believe that I had voodoo or spiritual warfare done on me, right? So if I come across posts like, for example, Billy Carson, who is able to explain exactly how it works in quantum physics terms, scientific terms, that is a way to make it tangible to the masses. So I will insert the clip and then speak about my experience, give my experience to back it up. Okay, so things like that. I've watched I've read books on the chakras and the subconscious mind. So like I said, 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm not able to remember what I learned to be able to, well, I can remember it, but I'm not enough to be able to explain it thoroughly. So when I see YouTubers like Ralph Smart, Infinite Waters, and Spirit Science, you know what I mean? Because the chakra books that I read talked about sacred geometry as well. So Spirit Science talked about sacred geometry too. You know what I mean? So anyways, even though that's besides the point. So if I see, you know, YouTubers that are explaining the subconscious the same way I read it in a book, and I insert the clip, or I may say it, or I may repeat it and explain it in my own way, then that's what I'm gonna do. But it's not that I didn't do the research, and it's not that I'm just relying on social media. It's just that what they're saying on social media actually matched up with my experience and with the things that I read, the information that I had learned and took in all those years ago. Okay, so my mother, and then so on top of the things that I learned myself about healing with sound, and I wanted to get on social media to share that, to talk about that. My mother would never see would never take me seriously. My mama doesn't take me seriously enough. Neither does my cousin, and probably neither would her two friends if they knew that about what I learned about sound healing. Because I'm not considered a reputable source, and the stuff where I learned it at is not considered a reputable site to her, reputable sources to them. Billy Carson wouldn't be considered a reputable source to them. YouTube is not considered a reputable source to them. And Billy Carson does extensive research. Billy Carson actually goes to the places and studies he goes to Egypt and he studies the hieroglyphs and he studies the emerald tablets. But she still wouldn't see him as a reputable source. Dr. Sebi, y'all know I love me some Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi cured a bunch of people and proved it, and got on, traveled, and all his lectures was posted to the internet. I watched several lectures by Dr. Sebi and followed his advice, and I felt better. I saw the changes in my own self. So, but he wouldn't be considered to none of my family a reputable source. So it's like, what really is a reputable source? What is that? You know what I'm saying? I'm having trouble with understanding what a reputable source is. Okay? I'm having trouble understanding that. So I said all that to say, people will, it's really all about, I'm gonna tell you this, it's really all about what people choose to believe. Because with the sound healing, I literally just learned some shit, tried some shit, and it worked. And people or human beings need facts and information for something to be validated as truth, when all you gotta do is just try it. When all you gotta do is just try it. It's music, it's sound, it's just sound, it's just music. If you try it and it don't work, then good, you could say that it doesn't work. But people will automatically write you off and discredit you because they cannot find information. They cannot find tangible information from other people, from another person who had to get it from somewhere as well, to back up what it is that I'm saying, when all they gotta do is just try it and see. Same thing with Dr. Sebi. All he's asking you to do, all his method is just to eat alkaline foods and take alkaline herbs, consume alkaline herbs, and alkaline water, and drink alkaline water. That's it. If you do that and you say I'm not getting better, then you can say you can say that doesn't work. You know what I mean? You can say that it's not, then you can say he's not a reputable source or he's not legitimate. You know what I mean? So it's like everything, like, I'm gonna just say it all boils down to what people choose to believe, and then what can be proven. So I go with what I experienced, my own observation, and what can be proven to me, and just what and also just what feels right in my spirit. Because there's always going to be people who are going to discredit the information unless it's proven to them in front of their faces. You know, for a long time, people did not believe aliens existed, but now the news is saying that aliens exist. For a long time, people have been saying that they have been seeing UFOs, but people were just telling them, oh, they're just you know, lying, or they just thought they saw something and things like that. You know, there's always going to be people that's going to discredit it. There can easily be a person that could say that Billy Carson is not, he don't really know if those emerald tablets say that, because them emerald tablets wasn't written in English. He don't know if he translating that right. There's always a person that's going to discredit what you do, or what you say, or or any information, if they don't want to believe it. If they don't want to believe it, they're not going to. So what is a reputable source? Because I believe that people can do their own research and post it on social media, and it'd be very accurate. But things can also be a lie on social media, and I feel like that's the same thing with the so-called reputable sources as well. They can be lying, and it can be accurate. What y'all think? But that's all I have. All right, so I really am being feminine. Now, in this spiritual community that we're in, well, if you in a spiritual community or not, I don't really consider myself to be a part of nothing, but any groups or organizations or anything like that. But across spiritual TikTok, spiritual social media, divine feminine and divine masculine is always a big topic of conversation. But we're going to talk about feminine energy. The one thing that everybody agrees on for feminine energy is emotions. But in this society, black women are often judged for expressing those emotions. You know, black women are being called ratchet and masculine and all of these different things for expressing their emotions. I'm going to use Glorilla for an example. Glorilla made the viral song FNF, right? So the song was about celebrating being F-boy free. Feeling celebratory, being in a happy, joyful mood that you've gotten rid of a F-boy is what that song is about. So the way that Glorilla chose to express that emotion was to go out and hang out the window with her ratchet ass friend. You know, but you know, black women are often being judged for, you know, having, you know, a lot of black men judge her for that. Judge a lot of black women for that. When I had friends, child, look, when I had friends, we went somewhere, and it was celebratory. We were celebratory, feeling celebratory. So I think it was somebody's birthday. I don't remember. But we was in the French Quarter on trying to go to Bourbon Street, right? And then I parked the car. And as soon as I parked the car, my friend Jada had turned the music up, the bounce music up real loud. And this was that year, that song, I still remember the song. And it was that song where I forget, I think his name is Tent Wall Buck or something like that. And he was like, where is the boys? The 4-4, the 5-4, the 6-4. Alright? That's besides the point, but I just remember that. Anyways. And then when she put the song on, everybody got out the car and started shaking. shaking, 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 right in the middle of the street. We in the French Quarter. Now, although that is normal in New Orleans, anywhere else, we would have been looked down upon. We would have been seen as uncivilized. And oh my gosh, these girls don't have any home training. And not just by white people, but by other black people, especially black men. Especially black men who have gotten to a certain status, gotten to a certain level of status. So anyways, it's like that was her, and that was us expressing what we were feeling. We were expressing happiness and celebration because it was somebody's birthday. And then for Glorilla and her friends, it was her breaking up with a nothing ass dude, so then I feel like black men often have like this very distorted or like misconstrued like sense of what femininity is, because they think that it's about being soft all the time, but forgetting that anger is an emotion too, and that anger could be expressed in a very aggressive way. So if you're in a relationship with your man and your man irritates you, and your man irritates you and you have an attitude, some girls may express their anger by cursing you out. Stupid ass ass fuck ass, leave me the fuck alone.
Now, is that an effective way to communicate? No. Should women be able to maintain a certain level of control over their emotions? Of course. Should you be with someone who you feel like you have to talk to like that? Probably not. But regardless, she is angry for a reason.
Then there are other women may express their anger by having by maybe the silent treatment, or like body language, rolling their eyes, or
Get off me.
you know what I'm saying, giving attitude with their facial expression, or just ghosting you for a couple of days and not talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, however that is expressed, however that anger is expressed, that is a woman expressing her emotions. It's not masculine. She's just angry. She's just mad. She's just frustrated. She's just disappointed. And that can manifest itself as being aggressive or having a bad attitude, or etc., etc. You know what I mean? So let's stop judging each other, and let's start trying to understand each other. Because black men cannot teach black women how to be women. You just can't do that. You're going off of, because pretty much you're going off of your own like desire to control. This is just my opinion from my observation. I think that men are going off their own desire to control, or to be in charge, or to lead, and think that a woman is just supposed to just be soft all the time and listen to but listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Not let's listen to each other, but listen to me. Or You know, I know what's best, so you need to be submissive to me type of mentality. And it's like that's not always the case. You know, I'm not gonna say always, that's not the case. Period. If a man is, you know, doing what he's doing, if he's listening, especially if he's like listening and understanding her, then a man will get a cooperative woman. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's gonna get a cooperative, submissive woman if you sit and try to understand her for who she is, or why she feels the way that she feels. If you are willing to understand that, not just ignoring or blowing her off because you feel like you know best and she's supposed to listen to me. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, a woman will be soft when a man makes her feel that way. When a man is making her feel that way. When a man, like I said, when a man is listening and understanding her. At least for me. But I feel like I can speak for all women when I say this. When we feel safe, for one, because I feel like this is all a part of feeling safe. When a man is choosing to, or taking the time to get to know, first of all, understand, learn to understand and listen to her when she has something to say, or when she's feeling a way, and giving her the opportunity and the space to express herself, and then you actually listening to understand and not listening to respond, then I'm almost certain that you will get cooperation, compromise, and all of that out of your woman. But I think a lot of men approach the situation with the domineering attitude, and that is what turns women off. That is what makes women feel like they can't, that is what makes women frustrated or angry, because you're not listening to me either when I tell you how I feel. When I'm trying to express my emotions. Okay? And then as far as women, you know, twerking, you know, that, like I say, that's considered to be like uncivilized and all of these different things. And it's just like, twerking has always, and then another thing is that black men in the conscious community, the spiritual conscious community, are always talking about, you know, Western ideologies and not even realizing that twerking is not a Western ideology. That has always existed within the African community, within our ancestors. It is movement. The movement of the hips aid in the healing of the womb, the healing of the sacral chakra, the clearing and balancing of the sacral and the root chakra. That is what our ancestors did it for. It has always existed. It has always existed. It was the European who over-sexualized the black woman's body and made it taboo and made it something nasty. And it was their perverted minds that looked at it as nasty and sexual. I mean, it is sexual, but I'm talking about like the over-sexualization of it, of the black woman's body, because the black woman's body was much, much, much different from the European woman's body. So that's always been a thing. And then it's like we do all this fighting for, you know, freedom and racial profiling, and we do all this protesting and fighting to not be racially profiled and to not be seen as, you know, I'm gonna just say racially profiled. or stereotyped. But when we get into these positions of power or status, it just seems like to me, from my observation, that when y'all get into those positions of status and having a lot of money and power, y'all tend to assimilate to the Western perspective or the Western ideologies, and we start to stereotype each other. When I thought the whole point was for us to embrace ourselves, was to prove to society that we can be ourselves and still not be not be the negative criminals, whores, and all of these things that white supremacy has placed on us. We are not the negative. Women twerking are not negative. It's ancestral. Twerking is ancestral. That dance is ancestral. And we can still be intelligent. We can still, build communities, build generational wealth, and still shake that ass. And still shake that ass. Women can still post their pictures in their lingerie and show their bodies and still be intelligent. And still be capable of running a business, still be capable of being a wife, and still be capable of, all the things that people try to say that they can't or wouldn't be a good fit for because they do those things. What good is getting into these positions of power and status if you're just gonna do what the white man did? If we're just gonna stereotype each other. But anyways, that's all I have for y'all today, and y'all have a good one.
And remember, don't be a hoe.